How's it going, guys? I really hope you're having an awesome day, and welcome to part 2 of building my electric scooter. And in this part, we're going to be focusing on installing the batteries, wiring harnesses, and some of the accessories that I'd like to install. So let's get started. Okay, so in part 1, we've assembled the main frame of the scooter, and now I'll start by installing the batteries. So as you can see, this scooter used to run on two 12-volt 7-amp batteries, but they don't last that long. So I've modified the frame a bit to fit two 17-amp batteries instead. But before we install the batteries, we need to put some sort of insulation where the batteries go to protect them from the vibration when moving. So in my case, I'm just going to use some foam. Alright, so now it's time to get the batteries in. So I'm going to be using two 12-volt 17-amp batteries in series for the motor and a 12-volt 7-amp battery for all the lights and accessories that we're going to be installing. Okay, so with the two batteries installed, the third battery mounts on the side of one of the batteries using this bracket that I made. Alright, so now we need to wire up the two 17-amp batteries in series for 24 volts by connecting the positive terminal of one battery to the negative terminal of the other battery. Now it's a good idea to make a common ground, so I'll connect the negative end of the 24-volt battery to the negative end of the 12-volt battery, and that'll hook up to the bare metal of the scooter. And now here's a closer look at how the common ground connects. Okay, so now I'm going to install the charging port, which can just hook up straight to the 24-volt battery. Alright, so now for the speed controller. Now I've already made a video showing you how to wire it, and I'll leave its link in the description below so you guys could check that out. However, for this time I wanted to test out how the scooter runs without the speed controller by connecting the motor straight to the batteries, but I'll have my 2-position switch that I also showed you in one of my previous videos connected between the batteries and the motor, so I'll still have some control on the motor. But guys, if you're building this, you really need to have a speed controller, and I'm only not installing one for now because I just want to test out how it runs without it. Okay, so now that I have my 2-position switch installed, I'm going to connect it to the motor. Now here you can see that there's a gap in between the battery and the 2-position switch, so I'll just fill that with a piece of foam. Alright, so now I'm going to start threading all my wires from the handlebars down to the battery compartment, and we will have a ton of wires, so it's a good idea to keep them organized. Okay, so I finally finished threading all the wires, and as you can see we have a lot, so we really need to keep them organized. Now I'm going to work on the brakes, and don't forget that you need to have a brake switch in the brake lever for things like the brake lights and for the motor not to run if the brake is pressed. Okay, so here's the throttle, which can just slide into the handlebar. Okay, so now I'm going to start installing my controls, beginning with this module which controls the headlight and the 2-position switch. Now here goes the FM radio transmitter. Alright, so as you can see here, I'm setting off a bit of metal on the handlebar to connect the thick ground wire to it, which will be used to turn on the motor in my case by twisting the throttle. Now I'm going to install this bottom assembly, which houses two switches and the key switch. And now here's a pair of USB ports that I'm going to install for charging USB devices. Now I'm going to install the radio, which can then be secured with a pair of zip ties. Alright, so now I'm going to install two switches, one on each handlebar for controlling the front and the rear lights on the scooter. Okay, so as you can see here in my case, because I'm not using a speed controller, I'm going to be installing two thick copper contacts on the throttle to turn on or off the motor. Alright, so as you can see here, I'm installing this green LED strip that connects to the 2-position switch and illuminates when the scooter is turned on, pretty much being the power light. Now I'm going to install this lower module, which houses two 12-volt sockets and a USB charging port. Now here's the front LED headlight, and this one doesn't get hot, so I can install it with some strong adhesive. Now I'm going to install another LED light above the headlight, which will also hold my LED scanner that I made in one of my previous videos, and we'll need to install an Arduino above it to control the LED scanner. Alright you guys, so with that we have reached the end of part 2 of this series, and in the next video we're going to be finishing this whole thing up, so stay tuned for that. And guys, as always, like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more content. See you in the next video.